Hey, folks, thanks so much for checking into the Neutral Zone Hotel. We are a podcast that focuses on the game of hockey at its best and worst with an unapologetic left lean. My name's Benjamin. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a Montreal Canadiens and Ottawa Charge fan. And for the first half of the show, I'll be checking with two of my coworkers tonight, starting with SJ.
Hi, I'm SJ. My pronouns are they, them. I am a Everett Silvertips, Seattle Torrent, and Seattle Kraken fan.
We also have Trevor.
Hi, my name's Trevor. My pronouns are he, him, a hopeful Vancouver Golden Knights fan, and someone with a very, very complicated relationship with the Vancouver Canucks.
Well, we're going to get to that in a moment, but we are going to start by apologizing. We are not going to be doing an in-depth dive into last week's episode of Heated Rivalries. You're going to have to wait until the season is over, and then we will bring you back all the Heated Rivalries content that we know you're jonesing for. But tonight, we're going to talk about trades. So there were two big NHL trades over the past week. We'll touch on one of them, and then we'll talk about the bigger one. So was it Friday the trades dropped?
It was.
Yes.
Friday news dump.
Friday news dump. So the first trade of the day was Stan Bowman finally goes out and gets a goaltender.
Finally.
But at what cost?
Brett Kulak in a second.
The Pittsburgh Penguins received Stuart Skinner, Brett Kulak, and a second-round pick. The Edmonton Oilers received Tristan Jarry. What are some thoughts?
I think that Tristan Jarry has more time on his contract and is an equivalent goaltender to Stuart Skinner. So it's just very, very funny to me. You also didn't mention the other trade that the Oilers made that day.
Was there another trade?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they got Spencer Stastny out of Nashville, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Who?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, they had to replace Brett Kulak.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that and I thought, Spencer Stastny? What? And then, is he related to Paul Stastny? No, he's not. Spelled differently. So Stuart Skinner goes to 2 straight Stanley Cup finals, but he simply doesn't have the juice to get them where they need to be. Roughly, they are approximately equal goalies.
I mean, he had enough juice that they got one goal away from winning the Stanley Cup.
Yep. So when we look at this year's stats, Tristan Jarry is slightly higher in goals saved above expected. Stuart Skinner has let in has seen a lot more expected goals against, but less per 60. So, yeah, they're roughly equivalent. Jerry's more expensive and he's under contract for longer.
He also got waived last year.
He did spend some time last year in the AHL. So,
however, this is a goal scorer. It's something Stuart Skinner can't provide you.
That's true.
That said, I think if you're an Oilers or a Penguins fan, you're just really hoping that a fresh start is what both of these goaltenders needed.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, they both underperformed in their markets. And Jarry's been heavily scrutinized for a while. Like, Pittsburgh's been challenging for how long to get him out of there. So it may be a lateral move, but maybe somehow it just gives them a perfect just injection of something in their butt to get them going.
Yep. Also, unheralded bonus, I think Jarry lives in Edmonton in the offseason, so he doesn't even have to move his stuff.
Ooh.
yeah, Tristan Jarry is from Surrey, but lives in Edmonton. So that's handy. I would say that Jarry is older than Skinner. by 3 years. He is roughly equivalent. He's signed for more money and longer. If you think this...
I can't believe Bowman made this trade.
That's so...
This is highway robbery by Kyle Dubas.
So at the end of this, they get Brett Kulak, who they can easily turn into a second. He's a decent defender. They get a second from Edmonton, and they get a tank commander goalie, which is what they needed. Jarry was good enough this year. He was ruining the tank.
Oh, it's just so funny.
The whole thing with this is Edmonton doesn't seem to be getting any better. They immediately lost their one of their next 2 games.
I mean, okay, the Oilers have been playing a lot better lately
Because McDavid's been scoring 3 points a game.
McDavid has come alive, as it were.
Someone reminded him that the Olympics are only 2 months away, and he went, I guess I should play hockey.
Oh, do you know what else Edmonton did? Just they called
They lost to Montreal.
No, they called up Quinn Hudson this morning. That's going to fix everything.
They got burned by one Hudson so bad, they were like, wait, we have one at home.
That's right. We have his brother. Let's call him up. Let's find out.
I think the Oilers will be fine. And if Tristan Jarry is 1 goal better than Stuart Skinner, they could very well win a Stanley Cup.
Right.
And if they do, then Stan Bowman looks like a genius for going out and basically doing a 1-for-1 swap in terms of quality and skill. Like, he's slightly better. They paid Brett Kulak in a second for slightly better. And if that's all they need, great. But if this is the move and they never win, Stan Bowman should, I mean, he never should have been allowed in an NHL front office anyway. But he should not be allowed in an NHL front office for hockey reasons, which might actually stick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not convinced that Jarry is the playoff hero they need. And I don't think he's going to be particularly that much more helpful in the regular season, because what they really need is a decent effing backup goalie as well. Like, they haven't done anything. They're still rolling, no disrespect, Calvin Pickard out there on every other night.
Last year, everyone said that the goaltending situation in Colorado was untenable. And Colorado turned around and acquired Mackenzie Blackwood and Scott Wedgwood, who have combined for a huge amount of goals saved above expected since acquired. And both are a huge reason why the Avalanche are absolutely dominating the league this year.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They went out and they found the best goaltender available, who was in the middle of a really good rebuild, like a refurbish, basically, at San Jose. And they found one of the best career backups out there, who is now rewarding them with a career season. And Stan Bowman went and got Tristan Jarry.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's pretty.
You're going to get out of the Pacific because you have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. But what are you going to do?
Stinks.
Yeah. What are you going to do when you run into whoever comes out of the Central? Because the Central is loaded for bear.
Yeah. I mean, the Central is just nasty with, like, one of the Avalanche, the Stars, the Wild are going to lose in the first round, and it will be a tragedy.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the division inclusive playoff format does that every year, and it sucks. It should be 1 through 8.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this whole year is a really good argument for changing, for one, getting rid of the loser point, and 2, changing the playoff format.
Go to a 3-point win system.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. Like, this year is proving how untenable current NHL arrangements are. Yep. And it's very frustrating. I would even be in favor of a 1 through 8 where, like in the PWHL, first picks their target. They pick from any team in 5 through 8. Who do you want?
That'd be fun.
And then do the same with 2 and do the same with 3. And 4 gets the leftovers. I think that would be appropriate. And then I think you should reseed and do it again in the second round. First gets to pick between 3 and 4.
I don't think they'll ever do the reseed because they love the bracket.
They used to do the reseeds years
Yeah,
and years
but
and
they
years ago.
love the bracket.
Yeah, but they shouldn't.
No, I agree, but it's a fan thing.
They only went to the bracket when they went to the divisional stuff. So
I just don't think that if they change the playoff format, I don't think that they will get rid of the bracket.
Well, whatever they end up doing, I hope they.
I agree they should reseed.
If they fix 50% of it, I'd be happy because that's better than Gary's NHL generally does.
Yeah. Speaking of the Central.
Yes. So the other news on Friday was Quinn Hughes being traded to the Minnesota Wild by Vancouver. And what was the return? It was
Marco Rossi, Zeev Buium, Liam Ogren, and a 2026 first-round pick.
An unprotected first.
Yeah, and Ogren, I believe, immediately got demoted, didn't he?
Nope, he played the first game against New Jersey. Oh. He even drew a penalty, which led to a power play goal.
What a guy.
He doesn't have any points, but you know what? Contribution.
He almost got a point.
Almost.
I think he got a point, and then they took it away because he didn't actually have the assist. But I mean, he's kind of a bit of a throw-in player on the deal. He's probably an NHL player, but
he's 21. There's room to grow and develop.
That's the thing. They're all of the players in this deal are children.
Well, Rossi's 24. He's getting close to that being.
He just graduated high school in comparison.
But here's the deal. They picked up Minnesota's 2020 first round pick. So they get the 2022 first round pick, they get the 2025 first round pick, and then they get the 2026 first round pick, the unprotected. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they get 4 first round picks for Quinn Hughes and for 1.5 years of Quinn Hughes.
Wasn't Buium 2024?
Oh, maybe. I think he was.
I think he was 20. I think he's 19.
Well,
I think he might 20.
In that case, it's every even number year in the 2020s they just got through 2026. So they got 20, 22, 24, 26.
Yeah.
So that is a lot. That is a massive return for 1.5 years of a player. It speaks to how good a player Quinn Hughes is. It speaks to where they think he's going to play in the lineup. And I think this is a really smart move that makes a lot of sense for the Minnesota Wild. They clearly were never a fan of Rossi's game. Ogren's or whatever. The first round is irrelevant. They intend to compete this year. Mm-hmm. And boom is the price of business. I think he's an extremely good defender who has potentially Norris level upside. So it's an incredible haul for the player, but I think that everyone in Vancouver would rather still have Quinn Hughes.
Well, if they're really, really lucky, they might have gotten a player back who could be as good as Quinn Hughes, maybe someday.
Yeah, it could be anything. It could even be a boat.
Exactly. It's very much it is very much it could even be a boat situation.
But it was very clear, apparently it had been made clear last summer to the Vancouver Canucks that Quinn Hughes was not going to extend.
Yeah.
And as soon as it becomes evident that a player of that caliber is not going to extend, his value to your organization begins decreasing unless you're in an immediate contending zone. And the Canucks did not do anything this year so far to make it look like they're even considering contending. So
you mean playing Quinn Hughes 27 minutes a night isn't a good strategy? I
mean, it kind of is, but when no one else is doing anything, it doesn't really help you, does it?
Well, I mean, they were overplaying him. Yes. Massively overplaying him. And he knew
still
it.
Incredible. Oh, yeah.
And he would still try to do everything.
But you can't do it. That's the thing. You cannot do everything in hockey.
It was noticeable for the last handful of games. He was trying to do things on his own. He was not using his teammates at all. And it was almost detrimental.
This was not a situation where the player forced the trade. This was not like Patrick Laine forcing his way out of Columbus or not out of Winnipeg or wherever he was. This is not a player who gave up. This is a player who did everything he could to be worth the contract that he was given. So, and presumably was aware that they were shopping him at the time, which I think helps them maximize the value. You know, I don't think if you're a Vancouver Canuck fan, I think you should say nothing bad about Quinn Hughes wanting to leave. That blame is internal, that goes to Alvin and Rutherford and Aquilini. So that is my feeling on it. I know, Trevor, you want to talk about this, but I think let's just cover the end of the trade. I think that this starts the timer for the Minnesota Wild, and it is a short timer. If they do not go to, say, the conference finals this year, I don't believe they have a chance of re-signing Quinn Hughes. If they're out in the first round, Hughes is definitely gone. But if they go to the conference finals or even make it to the Stanley Cup finals, I could see Quinn Hughes doing a Connor McDavid and taking a 2-year extension. That puts him at 30 for his last contract. He signs a big one with his brothers, and he finishes his career with them. That would be the ideal. Like, Luke's not going anywhere for 8 years, so he knows where Luke's going to be. Mm-hmm. But the Wild might just be in the same position this time next year. They went out in the first round. Quinn Hughes has told them that he's not going to extend. Do you take one more run at it and try to maximize your prime years of Kirill Kaprizov, or do you trade him for a big haul? What do you do with Mikko Rantanen, who's not going to extend at the money you want or not going to stay in Carolina? You know, like we're seeing a lot of this player movement now, these big name player movement, and I think it's very good for the league. Mm-hmm. But very bad for Vancouver Canucks fans. So that's my thoughts. SJ, what do you think? And then we'll turn it over to Trevor.
Yeah, I definitely think they have a very good shot at extending Hughes. I agree. It probably won't be a long term. He's not going to sign 8 years. But I could definitely see them giving him a couple of years, and it will absolutely require them making some significant playoff appearance this year.
It's also interesting to note, too, that Guerin, being the GM who traded for him, is also the GM for the U.S. Olympic team. So there's definitely
he's not gonna tell Bill Guerin, I'm not planning on signing with you before the Olympics.
Oh yeah, but makes you wonder if there was maybe some chatter going on beforehand. But
I think. Did you hear that the Minnesota just kind of made this offer to the Canucks, and the Canucks were like, okay, we'll take it?
Yeah.
There wasn't a negotiation. It was a best first offer situation.
Like, legitimately, like, if you look at some of the other teams, like, there was the list of teams that came out, and how do you find a better trade from a team that you might actually want to go to?
Yeah, and there were a bunch of... Here's just the thing. A lot of the other teams who were in on Quinn Hughes wanted contact with his agent to know what he wanted for an extension before that they would do the deal, and the Canucks didn't want to do that. And Minnesota didn't ask for that.
Yeah,
they made it very easy on Vancouver.
Well, that someone did. About freaking time.
Yeah, nobody was going to go higher than what Minnesota offered without a guaranteed contract extension in place.
And objectively, I'm sure people may come around to the return, because at its, you touched on it earlier, Benjamin, at its base core, it's 4 first-round picks, which is, who's going to say no to that? That's pretty cool.
For 1.5 years of Quinn Hughes, and that's you're not getting the rest of his career. You're getting 1.5 years. You're getting 1.5 years of Quinn Hughes ruining a tank. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I'm all on board, but I'm gonna go off on a few tangents here, and I'm probably gonna rant for a while here. But this is just Vancouver fan brain taking over, and just sorry, whoever's editing, you're gonna need the swear jar. But holy fuck, is it frustrating sometimes? This is if not the most talented player in your franchise's history. This is top 2. Pavel Bure is the only other comparison. And you pissed away everything once again, like you've done for the past 13 fucking years in this city. Ever since that cup run. And they had that President's Trophy run in 2012. But they tried to get bigger and they tried to play tougher. They tried to play Boston Bruins style hockey. It didn't work. It didn't work again in 2013. They fired Vigneault. And then they brought in John Tortorella. And I should point out, this was not Mike Gillis's choice, who was the GM at the time. This came from above him. They wanted John Tortorella. They got John Tortorella. That season was an unclassified disaster. When the Sedin Twins, who are point per game players plus the last, 6 seasons prior, capped out at 59 points in a full 82 game season, something that the next season under Willie Desjardins, they matched by game 55. But go back to it. 2013, like that 2013-14 season ends, and Gillis on his radio hit says, we need to go back to playing Vancouver Canucks style hockey, making the moves that make the Canucks the Canucks. Basically challenged ownership. Do you do it my way or we hit the highway? Gillis gets fired. And they bring in Jim Benning. And if you ever want to hear a collective shudder across the city, you just heard it across Vancouver. Because everyone here remembers 8 years of Jim Benning. That first year where you fluked your way into the playoffs and then were dog shit for 5 years after. And you fluked your way into the bubble playoffs thinking, oh, hey, maybe this is it. Maybe we have our chance, just like you thought in 2015. No, you're dog shit for years after. And you PDO fluked your way into one of the best records in the NHL in 2024. And you gave us all this hope. And everyone had career years. And you pissed it away because the team's still dog shit, despite having Brock Besser at its prime. Elias Pettersson at his prime, pissed away both of that. JT Miller at his prime, and he kind of pissed that away himself. Quinn Hughes at his prime, pissed that away. Thatcher Demko at his prime, his hips basically pissed that away for him. You had Bo Horvat at his prime, you traded him away. And now look what he's doing in New York. He is on fire, and I could not be happier for that man. But God, do I wish he was still in a Canucks jersey and not JT Miller for those last few years. Like, my life has been ingrained in this franchise for as long as I can remember. Like, my formative memories with this team started in 1997, the year they brought the York out. I have fond memories of Mark Messier as a Canuck because I didn't know better. I was 5. As far as I cared, they were superheroes. They could wear that Orca all they want. I didn't care about the name on the back or what they did. It was wonderful. They were ass. They were dead last for 2 years, and I didn't care because those were my boys. And then I got older, and I got to appreciate more and more, and I got to see the West Coast Express. And from there, I got to see the Sedins, and I got to see Magic for about 10 years. I got spoiled, and I'll be the first to admit it. And it's been 15 years of utter fucking dog shit since. And it all stems from one source, and that's Frankie frickin' Aquilini. What is the big trade? If you all remember, in the offseason this year, what was the one big trade that the Canucks made?
They got rid of JT Miller.
They acquired Evander Kane.
That's the one. Evander Kane. Who needs Evander Kane in the year of our Lord 2025?
Absolutely no one.
You want to know why they got him?
Because Edmonton didn't want him anymore. He was a
Francesco
liability.
Aquilini likes him and wanted him on his hockey team.
That's insane.
Welcome to Vancouver Canucks fandom in the year of our Lord 2025 and has been since 2012.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired. I want to get off this train. I don't know how to bring myself off this train because it's all I've known for 30 years. And yet I feel like I am ready to shop myself as a free agent for another hockey team because God help me, I cannot take this for my own mental health. I can't take more years of more desire of this team wasting away talent and being mediocre at best because Frankie Aqua wants people to go to his restaurants and have hope at the end of a season, so they keep feeding him money.
Well, they definitely did use the word rebuild. So
yes, I heard that, and I heard Chorus of Angels. Finally, we get this. It could have been done so much longer ago, but cool.
I mean,
it's
I think
happening
you
now.
should just
Wonderful.
give yourself permission to check out on the Canucks for the next 3 years. Just say, hey, I'm out right now. And I don't care, and we're rebuilding, and I'm just not going to pay attention. And just give yourself some real distance.
I can recommend a small goal boy that's very fun to watch.
In a way, it was almost cathartic watching that New Jersey Devils Vancouver Canucks game, because hey, the Canucks are winning. I kind of want them to lose, but I don't care. They're still going to be last place even if they do win. Maybe it's me going a little crazy in the brain, maybe going a little jokerfied here, but I don't know. I've got no skin in this game right now, and it's almost wonderful. It sucks to say that, but this is where we're at. And I know the Kraken are bad right now. You're only 5 years into this. Please do not get to this level. I am begging you. You are doing wonderfully as well by enjoying Montreal, by enjoying Florida, by enjoying all these other teams. One day I may be able to get to that status, but right now I am just so done with this team that has meant so much to me for 30 plus years of my life. I feel like Steve frickin' Dangle right now. Holy shit.
I'm really glad that Vancouver got a women's hockey team for you just in time.
Right.
It's not as bad as Steve Dangle. Steve Dangle hasn't seen a Stanley Cup final appearance in his lifetime. You've seen at least one.
I've seen at least. I was alive for 2. I've seen 1.
You haven't made the mistake of making being a Vancouver Canucks fan your financial stability.
That's true. My walls are filled with a whole lot more than Vancouver Canucks stuff, thank the maker. But
yeah. So,
oh man, I just realized now I gotta stare at this all day.
Put it in a closet. You don't need to keep your Quinn Hughes Funko next to your computer.
No, that's just where the best are. I mean, I still have Horvat,
just
but Horvat
turn him around.
It's fine. I've got my lamp there. My lamp's blocking it. You can't hurt me anymore.
It was very weird seeing him in a Minnesota jersey.
It was also very funny seeing some Minnesota Wild fans just seeing him have that just desolate stare on the bench, being like, hey guys, is this normal? Is he okay? And all the Canucks are yeah, you get used to it.
That's just what he looks like. He just has resting desolate face.
And again, I hold nothing against him. I hope he has a long and successful career, because God knows I enjoyed watching him for so long. I just wish it didn't have to end the way it always seems to.
Oh boy, I'm looking at the cap sheet for the Canucks right now, and it is dire.
I know.
They have to make a decision on Pettersson. They have to make decisions on Besser. Connor Garland. Oh my God.
Besser freshly re-signed for 7 years at 6.25. Garland's got another, he just signed an extension, so it's 5 years at 6 with an NMC. DeBrusk is 6 for 5.25 with an NMC. Pettersson's another 7 years at 11.25. The one bright side is Pettersson's been good this year, so at least that trade, that contract's a little more tradable.
You
it's
have
not great.
You have underestimated most of your money. They're spending more on almost all of them.
Oh, great.
11.6 for Pettersson, 7.25 for Besser.
I was 1
5.5 for Brusk, $6 million for Connor Garland.
All right, I got that one.
7.25 for Philip Hronek and 5.5.
Philip Hronek, who was re-signed to basically be stapled to Quinn Hughes' alternate side for the next 8 years.
He's only 25, 28.
All these players are signed through 2032 or 2031. I
think a lot of these players are very movable, but they also have no move clauses, so that's very problematic.
Every single one of them has a full no move except Connor Garland.
Yeah.
His kicks in on July 1st.
And you got Demko with an $8.5 million extension that hasn't kicked in yet.
Though, you know what? Though Demko is very movable. I think you could find someone to take a chance on Demko. But don't worry. Kevin Lankinen is signed through 2030, and he's got a no-move clause.
$4.5, $13 million on dog shit goaltending. Well, no, I can't say that. I love Patrick Demko. He's fantastic.
Lankinen's going to be fine for the rebuild, and they should just move Demko before his no-move clause kicks in. The summer.
They should just shut Demko down for the rest of the year and let him actually get his second leg back, let alone his first leg.
I think you actually want to trade him at the deadline. So I don't think you shut him down.
I'm just saying, that sounds great. Just don't overplay him and destroy what's left of his legs, because there's like a paper clip in there.
Full tandem him with Lankinen for sure.
Yeah.
I think that the big issue here is you're going to need to choose who to use your retention slots on. And this year, they only have 2 retention slots because Mikheyev is still retained.
And I forgot OEL's still on the fucking cap sheet as well.
OEL is on the cap through July 1st, 2030.
That's not so bad.
$4.5 million for that.
It's almost
only
$5 million.
Only
next year.
Through next year, and then it drops to 2.
Yes. And I frankly don't believe that the Canucks are buying any of these current players out. None of them are bad enough to buy out if you're going into a true tank situation.
And I don't necessarily think that they need to strip it for parts. They can keep some of these guys through, especially, they didn't, if they're kind of hoping to rebuild around their age 21, 22 guys, then they'll probably only be they only really need to be bad for like 3 years.
I think you have to appropriately identify which of the players that are signed to long-term deals are going to be valuable at the end of your rebuild. Yeah. So which of Pettersson, Besser, DeBrusk, Garland, Hronek, Pettersson, Lankinen are going to be valuable in 2029? That's the question you need to ask yourself. And frankly, I think Jake DeBrusk is not one of those players. You have to find a way to move on from him. I think Connor Garland is not one of those players. You have to find a way to move on from him. I think Marcus Pettersson, not one of those players. You have to find a way to move on. Really, the only ones who might be valuable are Besser, especially at the money he's currently signed at, and if Pettersson ever gets his game back. But if Pettersson doesn't get his game back, then you have to move that contract. Even if you retain $3 or $4 million to do it, you cannot pay him that much money to be a 70-point guy.
You just picked up a first-round draft pick. You could staple to that deal and send it off if you need to.
Especially if Minnesota goes to the conference finals and has a bottom 4 draft pick this year. That is an excellent way to get rid of that contract. And I think Pettersson is a key candidate to do a bounce back. I think he needs a change of scenery. And frankly, I think he needs to be in a more competitive environment.
I have the perfect place. New York Rangers.
Oh.
Okay.
I actually think if Sidney Crosby's still a Penguin at the start of next season, I think Montreal takes a run for Pettersson. They'll have more than enough money to go for it. They could take him full freight without any impact cap implications. And I mean, they'll take the first round and flip it for something. They need a second line center. They don't need a first line center. So, and they can surround him with the types of players that they can surround him with a 6'4" Titan in Juraj Slafkovsky and an offensive wizard with Ivan Demidov. Like, I think he fits the plan.
Exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've solved the problem.
Yeah, and I think that they might ask for a small retention of like $1.5 million, but legitimately, I think they can do it. DeBrusk, I think, is also very movable to a team that is in the later stages of their competitive window.
I have Florida. The perfect spot. Edmonton.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. Don't get me wrong.
You can just go home.
Yeah, he's the type of player that Stan Bowman likes, and
he's the type of player that Louis DeBrusk really likes.
I was hoping that was going to come up.
And I think Pettersson has a lot of value on a team that is also trying to extend the window. Like,
man, can you imagine Leon Draisaitl being like, wait, I mean, Jake DeBrusk isn't like great, but he's an upgrade on what I'm playing with.
he really is. He really is.
He really is.
Like they could use Jake DeBrusk or Connor Garland, one of the two.
Yeah.
They could use either of those players.
I know.
Oh, boy.
Oilers
In
fans
Edmonton.
got like traumatized by Garland a couple of years ago. They would probably love to have him on their team.
The only problem is Edmonton has absolutely nothing.
Yeah, they got nothing in that cupboard. You probably need to like swing a 3-team deal where it's like, this team's draft pick goes to the Canucks. Canucks give you Edmonton this player.
Edmonton has nothing to
maybe
give
Quinn
anyone.
Hudson will be something.
They're desperately hoping that Quinn Hudson has 3 good games. They can trade him for Connor Garland. That's what's
right.
going on.
I really like Matt Savoy. I always have.
Yeah, he's a good player. I think got a good future.
I would love him. I think he's a decent trade chip to a rebuilding team.
Yeah, I think that's possible.
All right, thank you for letting me have that rant, because oh boy, have I been holding on for a bit. I got notified of that in the middle of a work Christmas party, and then for the next hour, was basically nonstop on my phone because I kept getting buzzes and texts from multiple text groups and Discord servers. And finally, at the end of it, I put my phone down. My boss looks and he's like, "You're on your phone there a lot." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a popular guy right now."
I'm the kind of guy who, when something like that happens, I think it's important to turn the phone off and walk away from it. Because nothing you can do will get Quinn Hughes untraded.
Oh, I know.
And
But there was also
you can do.
A lot of Canucks fans at that table as well, so it was going to be inescapable regardless.
Well, that's when you just have to have a big group hug at the party, and then cry in your work appropriate beer.
Oh, that was the no. I was gonna say the drive home, but yeah. I had a lot of time to think.
I really like this trade for the Canucks if they are kicking off a rebuild. I really do. I think that you have just kickstarted your 2029 season, because I think Boom is a top 1D in this league. I think Marco Rossi is a middle 6 center, and those are hard to find. And I think that a first round pick can be anything, even if it is get rid of Elias Pettersson and save yourself the money, or even if it is, whatever it turns out to be.
Yeah.
But Quinn Hughes is a top 2 defenseman in this league. He would be the best defenseman if it wasn't for Cale Makar. And we don't see players like that get traded very often in the NHL.
There was one thing as well that I had brought up. If Quinn Hughes had gone to the Eastern Conference, if you list all the players in the NHL, is he arguably the best player in the East right now?
No.
Top 3 for sure. But
maybe.
If you think top 5 players in the NHL right now, there's a lot in the West. There's not that many in the East.
I mean, Kucherov is still one of the best of the world.
Matthews has the ability to be.
Yeah, Matthews, when he's on, is probably the number 1.
Yeah.
But
Nick Suzuki, obviously.
Okay.
Lane Hudson.
You know what? I'm not going to argue with you.
Geez, I don't even know. Let me just pull it up. I know. Hold on.
We got to wrap, though.
I know. That's what I was saying. I know 4. Nope, he's in the West now. It's literally just Kucherov in the top 10 in points.
Yeah.
Nick Suzuki is the next one. So it's there you go. There you go.
I am really interested to see whether Matthew Tkachuk is going to be anything coming back from that injury.
Pasternak. There's the other one I was thinking.
Pasternak is great, but the Bruins are dog shit. Is he what?
Is he Hughes level? That's what it all comes down to. Who would you rather have?
I don't think he is. I don't think he's as good as Hughes. You know what? Who is really, really good? Jack Hughes. I think he's right up there, but he cannot stay healthy.
Even in a year where he's perfectly healthy, he finds a way to get stupidly hurt. All right, folks. Thanks, Trevor. Sorry about your loss, but enjoy your next, hopefully, 20 years of Zeev Boom, because he's a real good player. Folks, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we are going to have magically a different cast with us. So we'll see you shortly. Hey, folks, we're back. So we have successfully deleted Trevor and replaced him with Emily. Hey, Emily, say hello.
Hello, everybody. Is this an upgrade or a downgrade or a strictly lateral move?
Tonight and tonight only, it is a clear upgrade because we got rid of one of those crappy GoldenEye fans, and we really do need the GoldenEyes to lose. The Charge need the win tonight, so... No, Trevor. So we've recorded this podcast over 2 segments. Trevor joined us last night, which for you guys was only a few seconds ago. But tonight he's at the Golden Eyes game. So we thought we would do Sabres talk and make sure Emily could show up as their resident Sabres
expert.
Yeah.
Masochist?
Yes,
Masochist.
That's the word.
Is the term fan appropriate anymore? Like, you got to be getting some sort of perverse pleasure out of this at this point, right?
You know, every now and then they play a game and there's this little spark of hope and you're like, watching the Sabres is fun. And then they proceed to lose like 9-2 to an embarrassing team. And then you're like, oh, nope, actually, the Sabres are not fun.
I hate to tell you this, but there's 82 games this season, and they're bad for about 60 of them, it feels like.
Oh, I know. I know.
But that's okay. Let's get into the reasons we want to do the reason we wanted to do Sabre Talk, which is after multiple rumors spread of the firing of Kevyn Adams on Monday afternoon, the ownership pulled the trigger. Kevyn Adams was fired and replaced by the guy they brought in 8 months ago to be a senior advisor to the GM, Jarmo Kekäläinen, who was for many years the general manager of the Columbus Blue Jackets, a team that notably has had lots of playoff success.
Deep sarcasm.
Look, after 5.5 long years, our national nightmare is over. We are free from Kevin from accounting.
And now you can replace him with a new national nightmare.
Yeah. Look, the Blue Jackets have been to the playoffs in the last 14 years. So they've even won a round. It's an upgrade. Maybe not much of one, but it is an upgrade.
That's a strong point.
In extremely funny fashion.
Yeah. I will say I feel a little bit bad for Adams because it was basically public knowledge. So the Sabres just had a 6-game road trip, and it was pretty much public knowledge, like 2 games in, that when they got back, Adams was done. They wanted to do it when the team was back at home, but he was going to be done. And then... So they got home on Sunday, and everyone expected this announcement to come out like Monday morning at 8 a.m. And then it turned out that Jarmo was in Finland because his dad had died. So then everyone was like, are they going to wait until Jarmo is back and not, in the process of burying his father? No, they did not wait.
In Finland, that probably involves a lot of alcohol. So yeah.
Look, being rip-roaring drunk and making decisions about this roster might actually be an improvement. So I'm willing to take my chances.
So before we jump into Jarmo, I want to talk about the legacy of Kevyn Adams. So obviously no playoff appearances. I think it's fair to say that they never really got close.
No, they had one brief year where there was hope, and then they immediately regressed.
It was a couple of years ago.
I think it was 3 years ago.
And they got so close and everyone was like, they're going to take, they've taken a step. That'll be playoffs next year.
Yeah, they were 1 point out. I think if the Penguins had lost their last game, then the Sabres would have been in.
So Kevyn Adams finishes the season, or finishes his career in Buffalo 178, 196, 42, which is a points percentage of .478. So that's pretty bad, right? Like that's not good. Yeah. So Kevyn Adams' record, very, very bad. It's not like very bad, but it's very, very bad for a GM who kept his job for 5.5 years. And I want to talk about the draft picks and I want to talk about the trades.
Yeah.
So he became the GM in June-ish of 2020, like during the pandemic shutdown.
Yep.
And so since then, they drafted the following players who have played in the NHL. Jack Quinn. How do you feel about Jack Quinn?
Up and down. His injury history, I think, has maybe flavored what he's turned out to be. He seemed like he had some potential his rookie year, missed a bunch of time, has been in and out since then, has flashes of brilliance, and then also does some just like remarkably dumb shit. So, you know, I would say mixed reviews.
Quinn was drafted 8th overall in 2020. The next 3 forwards picked were Marco Rossi, Cole Perfetti, and Anton Lundell. And I picked 3 as an arbitrary cutoff because I didn't want to tell you about Seth Jarvis being the 4th one.
I feel like people might have heard of him.
The next right winger picked in that draft was Igor Shinnikov, who was picked by Jarmo Kekäläinen. And people were like, oh, you went off the board. But I think that might have been the right call. Also taken in that draft, number 2, JJ Peterka.
Look, JJ was good right up until he decided that he didn't want to be in Buffalo anymore.
He hasn't been particularly good in Utah. That particular trade has been very good to Buffalo.
Yeah. I think that is. I think that's absolutely right. And yeah, Josh Doan has been very good.
I think Doan and Peterka have had pretty comparable production, and Josh Doan can play defense, which is not a skill that JJ Peterka has.
And you got Mikey Kesselring with him, right?
Yes. Yeah, he was hurt for the first several weeks of the season, but no complaints for the games he's been in.
So that's it for the 2020 draft. Somehow the Sabres only had 5 picks in that draft, and 2 of them were in round 7.
Oh, good.
2021, they picked Owen Power 1st overall. How do we feel about Owen? Do you really feel Owen Power was the guy from 2021?
That was a weird draft.
It was a weird draft.
It is a weird draft.
I would say Owen Power has been fine.
I mean, I'm looking at that draft now. He is fine this year.
Wyatt Johnston, I think, is maybe the one that, but he was so far down that list.
He was chosen 23rd, so yeah. a lot of people kind of missed on Wyatt Johnson.
Yeah,
Power was the consensus number 1. So,
and he's not a bad player.
How do you feel about Isaac Rosen?
Roseanne has some potential. He's been back and forth from Rochester a number of different times. I think his main critique has been that sometimes he lacks sort of tenacity. He, when things are easy for him, he's a really solid player. He's going to score a lot, but he's not necessarily going to even go into those corner battles, much less win them.
And that's it for 2021. A draft in which they had 11 picks, 6 in the top 3 rounds.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
No other players have played in the NHL. 2022, Matt Savoy, who obviously he has been sent to Edmonton.
I still really like Matt Savoy.
Yeah, people were upset.
They got Ryan McLeod back, right?
Yeah. But yeah, people were upset when they shipped Savoy out.
Yeah, I don't like that trade for them. Not a great trade.
McLeod's been good. I mean, he's been really solid on special teams.
Like, no, he's not bad, but he's not a bad player, and he wasn't a bad player for Edmonton. I just don't understand the choice.
I think it was the Sabres have so many, like, very promising prospects. Their prospect pool has always been, or has for the last several years been, you know, one of the top ones. And there were just no spots for any of them because, you know, they're all theoretically projecting to be top 6 guys. And, you know, they really going to take Matt Savoy over Tage Thompson at any point. So I think that was sort of they needed somebody to fill the role McLeod could fill. And Savoy was an enticing enough piece that Edmonton would take him. And they didn't want to give up some of the younger prospects. Yeah, I'm still not sure who won that trade or if it was the right one, but it hasn't been terrible.
So they had 3 picks in the first round that year. Matt Savoy was 1, Noah Ostlund was the 2nd, and Jarry Kulich was the 3rd. 3 centers. Some centers they could have had include Connor Geekie, Frank Nazar, Philip Bystead. I don't think you feel too bad about it. Brad Lambert hasn't really done much.
I mean, Connor Geekie hasn't done much either.
No, I agree.
Is he even in the NHL right now, or is he an AHL guy right now?
He's in the Crunch. He got traded.
Okay.
He got traded to the Lightning system, so he's with the Crunch.
Okay.
He's been up and down.
Okay. Yeah. Ostlund has been up and down.
But Kulich is stuck.
Yeah, Kulich has been really good.
Kulich. Sorry, Jarry Kulich.
It's okay.
I said your name wrong.
Lindy was pissed when they sent down Noah Ostlund. They only did it because they were still carrying 3 goalies. And that the fact that he got sent down was part of why they finally pulled the trigger on Kevyn Adams, according to the reporting.
Yeah. I mean, Ostlund has been really good this season. I think better than expected. He was one of those bubble guys coming out of camp, and he was someone who I may have gotten called up after the Norris injury. I don't even remember, but he basically took a spot and ran with it.
I think that's pretty much it for players that made the NHL at any point.
Zach Benson?
From 2022, I was going to say Zach Benson. I think he's still with the Sabres. And
yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's a really good player.
We love Zach Benson.
Nothing else is hit from their drafts.
But that's
so the 2020.
These are all really recent drafts too.
Yeah, they're all babies.
The 2024 first rounder was Konsta Helenas.
And he's looked good.
And the 2025 first rounder was Radim Murtka.
I continue to not understand the Radim Murtka pick. I don't understand why he was so popular. Having watched him play a full season in juniors in person, let me tell you, he's not that freaking good. Pick to be tall.
He's big though, right?
He's 6'6". You can't teach that.
And the Sabres love a big, maybe not that good defenseman. That's just like their entire decor, except Rasmus Dahlin, who is big and good. And I guess Bo Byram is like not that big and sometimes good.
I'll say he's been bad this year.
Like last year, they had him stapled to Dahlin, and that made him look great. And then this year, Dahlin has had all of those off ice, with his fiance getting a heart transplant, that Dahlin hasn't been carrying him this year. So they broke him up, and now Bo Byram looks awful. And they actively tried to move him over the summer. They couldn't get it done. They're still actively trying to move him. There's no, like, I would not be shocked if Jarmo trades him for a bag of pucks. Like, they don't want him.
Yeah, I think the problem is Kevyn was probably asking too much for him. I think he was trying to say, look, this is a Stanley Cup winner.
Yep.
Don't you want...
Kevyn asked too much.
Yeah, well, I think that was one of Kevin's big flaws, is he wanted too much for assets, didn't want to give up enough to get assets, but he was in on every deal, or so he would have you believe.
SJ, you touched on the next thing I want to touch on, which is Kevyn Adams' trade history. And if you think the drafting was mediocre, and I think mediocre is the right word, unfortunately, the lack of hits outside of the first round and a few first round whiffs, I think, is not great. But the trading, first trade, Marcus Johansson is traded for Eric Stahl.
That was baffling at the time. I still don't understand it.
Yeah, that was end of career Eric Stahl, who did not do much in Buffalo. Johansson is still with the Wild, I believe.
I think so.
He's fine. He's a bottom six winger, isn't he? He's fine.
He's fine. Yeah, they're paying him $800,000 to be replacement level.
Feels reasonable.
And we're going to get to the part here that I think is going to hurt. July 23, 2021, Philadelphia Flyers acquire Rasmus Ristolainen from the Buffalo Sabres in return for the ghost of Robert Hagg, 2021 first and a 2023 second. What do you feel? I feel like that's a pretty good return for what Ristolainen showed on the Sabres.
And Hagg was not bad when he was in Buffalo. I mean, he wasn't like a world beater, but he did what he needed to do. And more importantly, he was not injured forever. And also, I never once saw him skate backwards into the boards and trip himself when nobody else was nearby. So...
Ristolainen has been pretty good for the Flyers. I think he's been a very good, like, middle six.
He has been.
So this is the thing that has been bothering me for a while, many years. They got a first, a second out of the Sabres, or out of the Flyers for Ristolainen. For Sam Reinhart, a first-round pick and Devon Levi.
So it looks extra bad now that Samson Reinhart has 2 Stanley Cups and Devon Levi is still in the AHL. Some of that, and I don't know how much Kevyn Adams had input on Devon Levi's development. There were rumors for a while that when Levi signed with the Sabres, he was promised an NHL spot. He was going to be the next guy. You know, there was a lot of, he's the next Ryan Miller. He's going to save the Sabres. And whoever was making the call rushed him in. He played his 7 games at the end of the season. He had a great run. And so they were like, great, this is our tandem. We're running Devon Levi and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. And that was a disaster. And it's just been bad ever since. And now it seems like Levi is unhappy and may or may not want out. And the Sabres goalie situation is an unending nightmare. It's great.
Have the Buffalo Sabres ruined Devon Levi?
It's possible. It's possible. He's been pretty good in the AHL, but he has also choked big time in games that matter. The Rochester Americans...
He's only 23.
He is still a baby, but also he'll have a fantastic season. The Amerks will make it to the playoffs. They'll get to a must-win to move on game in the playoffs, and he'll give up 7 goals, which is not ideal.
Okay, the next trade, I think this one will probably be painful. November 4th, 21, the Sabres acquire Alex Tuch, Peyton Krebs, 2022 first, 2023 second from the Golden Knights for Jack Eichel and a 2023 third. So the big piece here is the management or the mismanagement of Eichel's required surgery.
Yeah.
And how that drove him to want to leave the team.
It's worth noting Eichel wanted out even before he sustained the injury.
Well, yes, he was still playing in Buffalo before he sustained the injury, so...
I'm not sure that how much of the injury mismanagement you could even say is Adams and not Pegula.
And also the team staff. I mean, I don't know that Adams has the ability to override the team doctor saying, we feel this surgery is too risky. I don't know the internal logistics there.
There was a lot of reporting on it at the time, and basically the Sabres had the right to turn down secondary analysis, or like a second opinion, and they executed on that right. And Eichel felt very strongly about the surgery, and it turns out he was right. Like,
I mean, I think the Sabres wanted him to get spinal fusion, which doesn't seem like it would be great for playing hockey, and also has pretty serious long-term ramifications and is absolutely going to require further fusion down the road and the loss of mobility and everything. Like, I understand why Eichel didn't want it. I understand also why he wanted out before it got to that point.
I've watched a lot of pro wrestlers get spinal fusion, and it's a temporary fix, and then a few years later, the mobility issues come back.
Yeah, I think you basically just keep fusing and fusing and fusing as the next joint down gets weakened and compromised.
Yeah, and then you end up like Kurt Angle, who can't turn his head. He's like a Muppet. His head is like locked forward, and he has to move his whole body if he wants to look around.
Yeah, that seems
which
bad.
Is not good for playing hockey.
Or just like life in general.
Do you believe they got enough for Jack Eichel?
I think given the constraints that they had, so they had to find a team who was going to give him the surgery he wanted. And I don't think every team was open to that. They knew he wanted out. So like, everyone knew he wanted out. I don't think they were in a position of strength. I think given what we knew about Krebs and Tuch, it was probably the best they could have done. I'm still not sure it was a great trade, but I think given the circumstances, it was fine. I think the Sabres have since possibly ruined Peyton Krebs, because he came in as a guy who was supposed to be like a top 6 playmaker, and they kind of looked at him and they were like, how do you feel about being on a checking line? And he has done his best to fit in that role, but that's not really his style of play. And so he's spent chunks of various seasons in the press box because nobody knows how to use him anymore. So I think there was some asset mismanagement after the fact. But Alex Tuch has been great. I mean, he's not a Jack Eichel caliber player, but he's been very solid.
But now he wants to leave.
Well, yeah. I'm hoping that the management changes and the potential coaching change that's been whispered about may help convince him to want to stay. But he went from, exit interviews a year or two ago saying, I want to be here. I want to be part of the solution. I love the Sabres. I grew up a Sabres fan. I want to be here too. Well, I'd love to stay, but I have to make the right decision for me and my family, which really sounds like, actually, I would like to get out, but I can't say that.
He's also 29 now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the next trade I want to talk about. Okay, I'm going to say this. When Kevyn Adams took Ben Bishop in 2022 7th to take Ben Bishop off the Stars' hands, I was furious because they should have gotten much better than a 7th rounder. Buffalo Sabres acquired Jordan Greenway for a 2nd and a 5th. Why? Why did they go get Jordan Greenway? This makes no sense to me.
Especially for that much.
It was the Jordan Greenway trade was all about trying to fix the locker room.
It was a Don Granato thing. It was Don Granato liked him and said, I want that guy on my team. I don't know what else. Yeah, I'm unclear. I think he was hurt at the time of the trade.
He was, yes.
So, like, they knew what they were getting into. But I guess Don Granato really liked him because I think Don Granato coached him with the U.S. National Team Development Program. And so he was like, bring that guy in. He will fix the Sabres. He has not fixed the Sabres.
No, it's not very good.
No, he's not. I can't believe they gave 2 picks for him. Like the 5th, maybe, but a 2nd and a 5th. That was an overpay.
It's insane.
Wild. And it was with the Wild. Casey Middlestat traded straight up for Bowen Byram.
You know, I'm still not sure who won that trade. The Avs have since moved on from Middlestat. Byram is still on the Sabres, although the Sabres don't seem to really want him to still be on the Sabres. I feel like everyone got what they paid for there.
Yeah, I think it was a real change of scenery trade for both players, and it didn't work out for either one of them.
Yeah.
When that happens, it's usually the player. We talked about Matt Savoy for Ryan McLeod already. So that just leaves Dylan Cousin, Dennis Gilbert, or possibly Denis Gilbert. I'm not sure which.
I think Dennis
and a
Gilbert.
2026 second from...
It is Dennis
probably.
Gilbert.
That was just a little... Anyway. To the Senators, in return, they get Josh Norris and Jacob Bernard Docker. And my response to this trade was Dylan Cousins is Josh Norris, but without being hurt every 30 seconds.
And cheaper, I think.
Yeah, he was also cheaper. This was just an absolute fleecing by the Senators.
Yeah, the cost was absurd. Dylan Cousins was another one who was sort of rumored to have soured on the Buffalo Sabres experience. And so I think it was sort of a locker room move. There were rumblings after the fact that, like, Dylan Cousins was kind of an asshole and people were glad he was gone. But also the fact that they gave up as much as they did to get Josh Norris, who showed up, was almost immediately injured, basically didn't play the rest of that season, got hurt in game 1 of this season, and has only basically just come back.
So you're saying Dylan Cousins was the wanker from Whitehorse instead of the workhorse from Whitehorse?
Yes.
I really like Josh Norris, but that man cannot stay healthy.
He has been healthy for he's had one season where he played every game. It was the 2021 season, which was only 56 games long.
Yeah. His shoulder just seems to spontaneously dislocate if you look at it wrong.
It's everything. He played 8 games in 22-23. It's 50s, 56, and he's only played 6 games this season so far. Like, he's never healthy.
It's not good.
And that will be the last trade ever accomplished by, or no, I guess there might have been some this year.
On July 1st, he traded Sam Lafferty for a Chicago 6th round pick.
Oh my goodness gracious. So I think it's fair to say Kevyn Adams he got value for some players, but in general, like, these moves are baffling.
Yeah.
They're baffling.
I don't even hate, like, if you just, like, kind of look at the roster and look at the individual players, I don't even hate the roster. Like, I think that they are severely underperforming their talent level on paper, and they have been for a while. And that was one of the reasons why they needed to move on from Don Granato, is because he was not the right coach to take them to the next level. And then they went out and they hired Lindy Ruff. And that was the even worse choice.
Lindy Ruff, to be fair, is the 4th winningest coach in NHL history.
Don't look up when most of those games were.
Well, most of those games are with the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, don't look up the years.
But, I mean, every dog has its day, and sometimes you have to take old Yeller Rope behind the shed.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Lindy is... I don't think he's the right coach for today's NHL. He was really good in his prime, and I don't think he understands the game anymore. And he certainly doesn't understand how to do it with this roster.
Do we think that was even Kevyn Adams' choice?
No.
Yeah.
He was a Pagula hire.
Probably. But I do imagine Kevyn Adams sort of saw it as this is something to give the fan base because, won't they be so excited that Lindy's back?
I do think one thing that you can absolutely put on Adams's door is the fact that he utterly failed to manage up throughout his tenure.
But I think he was made GM explicitly because Terry Pagula wanted a yes man in that role. And Kevin from accounting was someone who had always played nicely with him. And so he said, here, Kevin, you can play with my toy, the Buffalo Sabres. You should do what I tell you to do.
He was set up to fail.
Yeah, absolutely.
The purpose of the last 5 years of the Buffalo Sabres has not been to win hockey games. It has been to exist and to keep a few people showing up for the games.
And they're not doing a great job of that.
And to keep the payroll down.
Why would anybody show up to a Sabres game right now?
If you want to see the team they're playing, that's why you go.
It's cheap.
Yeah, and because you can get tickets on the secondhand market for $12.
But at what cost? What real cost?
$12. We've been over this.
Emotional trauma.
Yeah, the emotional cost we don't have to get into.
See, this is why it was good for the last few years to be a non-Senators fan living in Ottawa, because I could just go to the games and not be attached to the team that's getting the shit kicked out of them. So I guess if you're that person in Buffalo, but I do think that likely that's part of the reason for the move is the fan base is done with Kevin. 100% done.
Oh, the fire Kevin chants have been happening for 3 years.
Yeah, and the media is done, and if people are not showing up to the games, then what choice does he have? He has to do something to get people back in the building. Jarmo Kekäläinen seems like he'd be better at managing up. He is much better at drafting, and I don't think he was bad at trades. I just think that Columbus suffered from a lot of the similar challenges Buffalo did in being a small market, not necessarily being a first destination for free agents. And then when he finally did go out and sign a huge free agent, tragedy struck. They just got unlucky in Columbus so many times. Because it wasn't crazy to say this, but Johnny Gaudreau was not the only active Columbus player to die on Jarmo Kekäläinen's time there.
Yeah.
It happened
that is wild.
Beforehand.
Yeah.
So just a huge run of bad luck on top of everything else. So I think he is a much better GM than Kevyn Adams. And I think if he has the actual ability to control the hockey operations department, then I think things will start to look up.
If he's allowed to hire people to help him, I think that would be a huge boon to the operation.
So that's something. Buffalo has not had a president of hockey ops for several years / possibly since Terry took over. So there is no intermediary between Terry and the GM. And I'm interested to see, there have been some rumors from Buffalo media folks that the next move may be Lindy comes upstairs as president of hockey ops.
Oh.
And probably Seth Appert takes over as head coach, at least on an interim basis.
So I'm looking at their webpage. General manager Jarmo Kekäläinen. They have a COO, a CCO, a SVP of business operations. So that's no good. They have an associate general manager, Jason Carmenos, 2 assistants, Mark I'm not going to say it. Mark J, and Jerry Fortin, who I've never heard of either of those guys. They have a special assistant to the general manager, and Eric Stahl. So maybe that trade worked out after all.
I'm pretty sure that was Kevin's buddy Eric wanted to see what it was like in a front office. So Kevin said, "Come on over, Eric."
I mean that's happened before, like Jason Spezza. That's how he got into it. And they have a VP of hockey strategy and research, which almost sounds like it's analytics, but I don't think it is.
Who is it?
They have it. Sam Ventura.
Oh, yes, that is analytics.
Yeah. They have a data engineer and data scientist listed.
Okay, that's good. You need those for an analytics department.
Yeah. Director of hockey technology team ops. Craig Anderson is apparently one of their scouts. That's fun.
I think he's their goalie scout.
Yeah.
So they have a 3-person analytics department.
At least they have an analytics department.
Yeah.
Could be worse.
Start.
So just by way of comparison, I'm going to pull up just a random NHL team. Can anyone guess which NHL team I'm looking up?
The Habs?
How did you know?
I feel like there was like the logo in my peripheral vision and it suggested itself to me.
I'm looking at the player development core right now. They have Rob Ramage as the director, Francis Bouillon, Lori Korpkowski, Paul Byron, Alex Burrows, and Mary Philippe Poulin is listed as player development consultant.
That's incredible.
What are they paying her for? I want to know what she does.
She probably comes to camps.
Yeah.
In the summer.
So Montreal also has a 3-person analytics team.
Okay.
So I guess that's comparable. Okay. So yeah, like it seems like they have a staff. It just feels like the issue is the owner.
Yeah. Well, so the first thing that Kevyn Adams had to do after he was hired was fire, I think, almost half of the front office. I think they got rid of like 50% of their scouting staff. They got rid of a bunch of other people. Terry Pegula swears it wasn't a cost savings. It was streamlining and making things more efficient. But it was Terry Pegula wanted to not pay those people anymore. And he made Kevin do it.
Brutal, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So hopefully Jarmo is allowed to replenish some of that staff. So maybe they have enough people to run a functional hockey team.
What do you think are the 3 things Jarmo Kekäläinen has to do to get the Sabres into a position to be competitive for the next season?
They need to figure out the goalie situation. They cannot be running 3-goalie Monty. And I know they just signed Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen to that contract, but he has not been living up to that, and none of the 3 goalies are getting consistent enough starts. So Lindy will ride the hot hand and the other 2 will sit on the bench for 3 weeks and not see any gameplay. So then when the next guy has to go in, he's cold. So they have to figure that out. I don't know who they're going to move. I mean, Colton Ellis would be the obvious one because he's a baby on a tiny deal. But they cannot run with 3 goalies.
They can just move Alex Lyon.
They could, but Alex Lyon has been the best of the 3 goalies so far.
He's 33. He's got 1 year left on his contract. Like, he's an okay backup. Honestly, I mean, is Colton Ellis even, like, is he NHL ready? Like, he's only 25. Send him back to the A.
And I think that may be what happens. But so the Sabres have a lot of goalies in the system. I think they might have 3 in Rochester right now. Plus, I don't know how many in Jacksonville.
Yeah, it sounds like they need to trade some AHL goalies.
They probably do. And I think they're also kind of in a holding pattern waiting for the Devin Levi emergence. So the goalie situation through the entire system needs to get sorted out. I think that's probably priority number 1. I think he needs to figure out the Alex Tuch situation. If Tuch is not going to resign, I think you have to move him because you have to get assets for him.
Yeah.
He's one of the best players on the roster. You cannot let him walk. But also, I mean, the public perception of them trading yet another high-profile player who wanted out is not going to be good. But, like, you got to do something if he's not going to sign. And then I think he has to get a new coach. I mean, that might actually be first.
I think the coaching, sure. Fix the goalie situation, but fix the coaching.
Yeah. The goalie situation is screwing up the rest of the roster because you're carrying an extra player who is a goalie and not a skater, and nobody knows what's going on with that. But yeah, you have to fix the coaching too.
And don't hire Torts.
No.
There have been a lot of rumors about Jarmo maybe wanting to hire Torts, and I hope that's not real.
They've tried the tough love thing. It's not working. Everyone in Buffalo already has enough psychological damage. They do not need another coach who's going to contribute to that.
Yeah. And they got to do whatever it takes to make Darlene want to stay. Like, they can just, like, say, hey, you're signed, you're not going anywhere. But if he's not happy, then they're screwed.
That's going to be a problem.
Like, they have to be, I don't know, throw him a party. I don't know. I don't know what it takes.
Yeah, they have handled the situation with his fiance really well. They were super happy to let him take time to go see her in Sweden and do what he needed to do to, you know, not be worried about her. I am hoping that, you know, showing that level of human decency, which is like the bare minimum, did something for them. But
yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. I'm hoping that if Jarmo comes in and he fixes the coaching situation and figures out the goalie situation, maybe that makes everyone there feel better about the team. But who even knows anymore?
I know that the answer is not transplanting palm trees in Buffalo. That's
Are you sure, though?
I mean, you could maybe do one in a little pot as a joke, but Buffalo is not a bad place to live, and they should be maybe appreciating it for the city that it is, which is not a bad city. I don't know.
And the fan base loves the team. If the team stops being like the most embarrassing thing in the NHL, people are going to come back.
Yeah.
Like, people want that team to be even mediocre so bad. If they were the Minnesota Wild and they finished 16th every year and lost in the first round every year, do you know how happy people would be?
Well, they would be happy for 3 years, and then they would be like, okay, maybe not anymore. But like, expectations would rise eventually. But yes, right now the bar is on the floor.
Yes.
I think Buffalo has the same challenge a lot of cities do. But there is a very clear cure to that remedy, and it is winning. It is putting together a team that has the potential to win and putting together a group of guys in the room that want to be there. And I said this earlier, I said this to Trevor, and I've said this before, but Montreal is doing that with their young guns. They have everyone buying in. Winnipeg was able to get their big free agents to commit to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
To Winnipeg.
I would rather be in Buffalo than Winnipeg.
Nashville, which is not a place that screams hockey, was able to attract gigantic free agents for a very long time. And now no one wants to go there despite the taxes because they're kind of bad.
Wait, I am hearing, though, that Buffalo can't get players because they have taxes there. You're telling me it's not all about the taxes?
I believe the taxes are an excuse that players use to say that they want to live in Florida where they can go to the beach every day. Because if it really was about the taxes, then there'd be players lining up to sign in Seattle, and they are not.
Yep.
Players want to go where it's fun for them, either on the ice or off the ice. And if you can do both, then you're going to attract players who are going to give you discounts. Any final thoughts? Or are we good to close this one out?
No, I think we're good. Jarmo had a press conference today. He said that Terry has given him basically carte blanche to do what he needs to do, spend to the salary cap, make whatever changes he needs to make this a successful team. And he says there's a lot of hockey left, and his goal is to get them to the playoffs this year. I don't think that's happening, but at least he's saying the right things. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Well, I wish Jarmo Kekäläinen all the luck he can find in Buffalo.
That's right.
All right, folks. Well, we're going to end this. So this has been the Neutral Zone Hotel. We are written, hosted, and produced by the Neutral Zone Hotel crew, which is to say us. You can find out more at our website, neutralzonehotel.com/Discord to join our Discord. We're on Bluesky and YouTube at Neutral Zone Hotel. Smash the like button, 5 stars, thumbs up, whatever it is you got to do to show that you've had a good time today. Folks, we will see you next time. Thanks for checking in.